So we just left Harbor Freight, picked up a jack, ball joint press, and they had a 20-ton hydraulic press kit, but they're sold out. That would have made life a lot easier. So we may go get one from another store, but that's like an hour away, and debating if it's worth it or not. So let's get to pressing the ball joints. So now we got to open up a brand new jack that we got. And I bought the Daytona 3-ton. It's, I think, the new model. So it is low profile, which is a necessity for the Skyline. And it's actually got long reach, so you can get under there if your car is low. And it says it's got 3 foot and a quarter of low reach, so like that big, and that would come super in handy. So it is very heavy. It's 100+ pounds, so it was a pain to do by myself. Or a pain to get in the buggy. And we got zip ties. Not zip ties, staples. There's tape holding it. The nice thing too is it's got the bump. It's got the bump, so if you hit your bumper, it's not going to scratch it. Obviously avoid that, but if you accidentally do, it's protected. You just got a couple click-ins there, so that's really easy. And then your handle's over here, and it's, I think it's perforated is the term, but it's kind of grippy. And a bend. This is gonna be fun. And this, I believe, you have to line the swivel linkage up, I guess. like so. I don't know if this is to lock that in or what this is for. So, I guess we do need the instructions. Dang it. Handle release bolt. Bleeding trapped air. Adding oil. So, all you have to do is just, I guess, line this up. And that's that. Kind of really loose. What's next? And it should. I don't know if you can see this. Now we should just be able to use it like a normal jack. Yeah, looks like got a lock on it. And, oh, that's nice. Cool. Now we got to get the skyline in, jack it up, put it on blocks, and then we can start. Next step, make sure that you got your whatever chocks you plan on using. If we're going to use wood blocks, that's fine. And then our jack point is going to be, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the differential, I don't think you can see it from here, but the rear diff. So next step, jack up your car. Yeah, that long reach is super helpful. So, let's see if I can prop up. I think on it. It's improved. Wait, that's not enough. So, got the car jacked up. It took a little long, but I also trying to be very careful. I put the jack stands on frame rails. I want new jack stands because I want a bigger V valley where it actually clamps on, but they're safe and they will do for now. Daytona jack use differential to jack the car up, and then now we are going to replace ball joint. So try to do the Hicus ball joint too, if we can get to it, and then also the wheel bearing. So yeah. And here's, I'm gonna actually do a little quick test to show you. Let's take the tires, move side to side. Get that clunking, and also up and down. Up and down is there. And then left and right, diagonally. And really you can do that here too and see what's kind of moving. It's easier for someone to do it for you, but and you can see if nothing's really moving, so that if it was, the ball joint was in here, and then the outer tie rod for the Hicus, which actually looks like it's outer tie rod. I think that is ball joint we're going to be replacing. But the play is moving the wheel diagonally and left and right. So the ball joint's probably good, but while we're here, we're just going to do it. And then the wheel bearing is that diagonal play. So we have to pull the hub off anyways to get the wheel bearing, and you also have to pull the hub off to get the, I guess it'd be called the knuckle, to get the ball joint out anyway. So we're going to do it while we're in there. We're not going to replace the bushings inside the knuckle right now, just because I'm not ordering them, and they're also backlogged or back ordered. So I'll wait for that. So without further ado, let's get our tools out and get ready. So now that you got your wheel off, what we're going to have to do is take off the caliper first. So it's going to be this bolt and this one right here. And then we're going to have to, and then we're going to have to take this one off and probably just maybe take that off and give it a little room. We have to take the upper control arm off, the Hicus, I guess that'd be the ball joint off, which that's also getting replaced. Coilover is gonna have to come out, and I think that's it. But it's a smart idea to go ahead and spray everything down with some penetrating, like PB blaster, anything that's gonna penetrate the rust and everything. So gonna do that, and I'll update you on the next thing. So got the rotor off. A little trick: put, I think it's an M10 screw in the threaded holes. A lot of rotors have that, some don't. But what that does is pushes that screw through the back side of it, like underneath, and then pushes against the hub, and then it pushes the rotor off if it's seized. So now we have to take the e-brake assembly off, which is a drum brake assembly. So you have to take these two springs off. Whenever you take those two springs off, everything else kind of just loosens up. You'll have to loosen this. It should be, you take a screwdriver in there, push it in, unclock it. And then your adjuster screw is right here. Make sure to always take pictures of this stuff before you disassemble it, because if you don't know what you're doing, putting it back on is a pain. The caliper bolts are 217 millimeters, and they were not tight, but had to hit the wrench pretty good to break those loose. And always make sure to hang or set your caliper somewhere so it's not sitting on the brake lines. And yeah, so now we have to take this off. So now got the e-brake cable, or the e-brake assembly off, which is right here. You have to take these two springs off, or unclip them, and then you can push in and then rotate this 90 degrees left or right and pop those out. Once you pop those out, the shoes come loose. I don't know why this is so zoomed in. So the shoes come loose, and then you can separate them like such. And then after that, you kind of just gotta dangle them off. This is clipped in to your adjuster screw on the bottom, down in here. So just make sure you take pictures of everything, because that's what's gonna be a pain to get back on. Then you have, where did I put that? Well, I had, oh no, it's threaded in, that's why. You have a 10 millimeter nut right there on this bolt or stud that this slides onto, and then you got a nut that goes over it, and then you pull your e-brake cable out through there. It's a pain. It's kind of a pain to do that. So once you get that out, then next I have to get this hub off and disconnect the axle. I'm trying to do it without dropping the lower control arm, like I said earlier, because there's enough room to get a nut on these because the wheel bearing's right here. So I think I'll be able to do it. So we'll try that. If that doesn't work, then we're gonna have to do it, I guess, the hard way. So yeah. So to get the axle out, you have to take the cotter pin out, which locks in. I'll just do it real quick. So that slides on there, or is on there like that. And then you have a cotter pin. This will focus. You have a cotter pin that goes through that hole. All you do is just, it's going to be bent like this. All you do is bend those tips back up. And then I use a pair of vice grips and clamp onto the head, and then just hammer it down through. Once you get it relatively straight, and it'll pull right out. And then you pull this nut off, put it aside, and then you got a seal. Make sure you don't lose that, or that's actually really dry. Let's see if I can kind of find a rubber washer maybe at Lowe's and replace that. And then there's your axle. I believe it's a 32 millimeter, but we'll double check. So an 1 7/16 socket will work. It's not a 32 millimeter because I have one, so it's actually, I think, a 34 millimeter. Also, always wear eye protection. And yeah, so if you're careful, you can get an 1 7/16 to work. It's a little loose, but I still was able to break it loose with the impact and not strip it at all. So yeah, so. And when we pull the axle out, what we're gonna have to do is disconnect that up there somewhere. And I'm gonna figure that out now. So, ended up taking the upper link loose, toe link loose, because I'm gonna have to disconnect the drive shaft, which, if you look, that's where you disconnect on the right one, is right there. So I'm gonna have to do that on this side to get this out. They're all 19mm bolts, but we have found the clunking noise, the Mr. Clunky Clunk, and yeah. So you could say that's the Hicus, I think, ball joint. I believe it's a Hicus ball joint. Yeah. So that's what I ordered, and then when I get this knuckle off, I'm also gonna have to get that pressed out, and then get that lower ball joint pressed out also, which that one doesn't look terrible, but. And here we continue. And we got everything in from Terra Firm. Shout out to them for, it was like 2-day shipping. So we have, I'm gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong on these, but I think the back rear Hicus on both sides, ball joints. And then I'm gonna have to double check, because I don't know if they shipped the wrong thing or if it's just the universal part. But it's supposed to be the rear lower control arm ball joint, and it says front lower arm, so maybe they're just universal, because it also says on here, get that to focus, come on. Anyways, it's camera's being stupid. It says Pulsar N15 95 through 2000, and then Sentra Sunny? Yeah, Sentra Sunny. Bunch of different models. Which I don't think a Sunny is a thing, but whatever. And then we got the rear axle, not rear axle, but rear wheel bearing seal. And then Mac Daddy of them all. Since I'm only doing the back left side right now, I only ordered one, but this would be the most component that we need. And this is the wheel bearing. So yeah, they are universal for the left and the right side, but if you look, there's a dowel pin, and to change one side, all you need to do is just change the location of the dowel pin from left to right or right to left, etc. And then this also has to get pressed on, so yeah buddy. So now we are going to go put this on the car. So this escalated, not quickly, but it turned into a lot more work. So we got the knuckle off. I had to cut the Hicus ball joint off to get it off. And yeah, so that's off. And then you can see all these other bushings are kind of falling apart and disintegrating. So now I gotta order those, and I was hoping for the best that they would be intact. But I had to drop the coil over, pull the axle, and then literally disconnect everything. So it's not terrible, but now I have to figure out how I'm gonna get that off. So it should theoretically just kind of, it's seized in there, that's why I had to cut it. So hopefully I can hammer it out or get it pressed out. And yeah, so now we have to press the new bearings into there, and we'll be good. SPL parts came in. Let's go, baby. Now I just gotta figure out. I always love and hate how they package these things. I might need to put a hand down for this. Oh, well, these are cool. So these are SPL's monorball bushings for the rear knuckle of the 300ZX and the R32 Skyline. Yep. So these, I believe these are shock absorber bushings, and then these are the bushings for the like upper control arms, track rods or trailing rods, whatever they're called. You know what I mean? These are so cool. They're really, really high quality, actually. Which I've always heard that SPL is the best, which is why I'm going with them. So I will now. Ooh. So now I will have SPL monoball bushings. SPL, I can't remember the terminology, forgive me. I believe those are the trailing rods. And then SPL track rods. I'm butchering this, I'm so sorry. And then also SPL upper control arms. And they're very high quality. Build aluminum, titanium rodding, monorball bushing, and then if you actually go on their website, they'll show you how to set these up. I don't believe I have this set right. And they're also on an angle. So, and then they're also in all new packaging yet. So these are brand new. But high quality, very high quality. Never hear anything bad about them. So now we will have the monorball bushing in the end of the track rod, or whatever they're called, along with the bushing to go with it in the knuckle. Let's get it in. Also, we got stickers. It's like one of those things that you buy expensive, very expensive items, and you get a sticker. And I think these are directions, are they not? Yeah, so monorball knuckle bushing installation instructions for S13, Z32, Z33, Z34, and R35. And yeah. Before starting the installation, put the kit in the freezer overnight. This will have the bushings contract and make insertion easier. Press out the stock bushing using appropriate bushing, press and driver. Clean the bore and file down any nicks in the bore as necessary. Well, these are pretty serious. Measure bushing bore the knuckle. Measure diameter new bushing. Confirm that the new bushing is between 1 and 1/1000 and 3/1000 of an inch. Larger than bore on the knuckle. If the tolerance is out of spec, please contact us for a replacement bushing. And there's the email, questions, SPL. And all the directions. You can pause if you need to. The 1-year warranty limited. So yeah. So I can't get it off. So now we are going to Nissan to see if we can get this metal cone to hold down on the ball joint and replace it. So it's right there, and here we go. Alright, so this is probably going to be part 2 by now. Couple things happen. So, where is it? This is the left rear drive axle, and this is the right. As you can see, it was seized in there, so I had to hammer on it pretty good. Use the jam nut, but it still ended up stripping it because it wasn't coming off. I had to use 2 hammers, one on it, and then hit another hammer on top of it, and that took about 5-10 minutes of doing that to get it to budge with it about red hot. So ordered those. Well, I didn't order those. I'm going to, I guess it would be, it's a tap and die set, but die the threads. And then I ordered 2 nuts from Z1 Motorsports to go on it because the one got damaged, and if I'm replacing one, I'm going to replace the other one. But today, thank you to, it would be, oh, I don't want to show my, actually I don't really care. CZP Performance is the company. I ordered some Nismo bushings for the lower control arms, and here's part number if you need it. And I got 4 of those, and those go there on both control arms, lower control arms. So I'm going to press those in. I have the OEM ball joint to go there, and like I said, this will probably be number 2 video because this is taking a lot longer than I thought. But I have the whole right side disassembled, so I'm also going to change the upper control arms, trailer rod, track rod, whatever they're called. I'm super tired, so excuse the terminology. But both coilovers are down, rotors are down, all the bolts and nuts. So yeah, let's get to pressing these bushings in. We can finally resume working on the GTR. Lower ball joint shank. So your ball joint goes, my phone's about to die so I can't move. Goes like this. This little hole slides down on like that. I ordered apparently the wrong ones off of Amazon through MTC. Huge shout out to Concept Z for these. They have them in stock, and I got overnight shipping on them. And what was happening with the old one, whenever you would put it on the shaft, you could go like this, about that much. Those are aftermarket ones. These are the OEM ones. So now, alright, so we have got the SPL trailing arm, track arm, I don't know, SPL upper control arm installed, OEM ball joint, SPL knuckle bushings, one there, OEM lower ball joint, SPL knuckle bushing, and also they come with the SPL bushings, Nismo lower bushings, and then I got to order sway bar bushings, but I don't have to drop the whole assembly to get that. And then we got a OEM wheel bearing, and also a new gland nut from, I think I ordered those from Z1. And now we have to put the drum brakes back on, or the e-brake for the drum brakes, and then that'll ride inside of the hat on the rotor. The easiest way I found to do that is you clip in this spring, the 12mm bolt that holds this bracket on the backside. So you gotta tighten that back down, hook this into the little clevis thing, and then you use one of these springs to, the screw would be turning up like this, and you push in and then you clock it. And how that works is this little arrow locking spring goes in that hole, and then whenever you twist it, it turns like that so that it can't back out. And now we can put the other side on and put the rotor back on and hopefully put the Hot Boy wheels on. And also another thing, it says installation on these SPL parts is on their website, but this space here can be no more than 5/8. This space here can be no more than 3/4. And then anywhere there's this monitor ball bushing can't be torqued no more than 100 foot-pounds. For right now I have it at 75 foot-pounds, and then it says in their instructions to do 100 foot-pounds during the alignment. And also the orientation of the upper control arm has to be at an angle. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it dips down like this very slightly, and that's how you have to put them in. So yeah, race car parts. It's so much easier and looks so much better, and it's gonna make the handling of the car so much better. And how I'm gonna have to get an alignment, but what I did is I measured center line of like the bolt, the center line of this bolt, and matched it to what the OEM one was that was already in the car. And I think this one was 12 1/4 and this one was 8 3/8 or 8 1/4. So I did that. And I also got the drive shafts are orientational, so other than the ends, they're 2 different lengths. The shorter one goes on the left, the right one goes on the right. Or I learned that the hard way. That was not fun, but I can't move that now, so that's gonna get rid of a bunch of clunking noise. And we continue on. This whole build has taken all my video space on my phone. Anyways, got the SPL parts in, torqued to 75 foot-pounds, lowers torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Once the alignment's done, these will be put to 100 foot-pounds. All that back on. We're about to lower the car back onto Nitto NT555 G2s on the RS05 RR. And look how good that looks. Whew. Full race car, baby.